God's plague, number 8. Those of us who may want to know what plague means affliction of God. So it's judgment, God's judgment. So there were actually, the last one will be number 10. And today, Kenya actually officially enters the last end, the tail end of plague number 8, which I told you is famine and drought. So it is playing itself out. And if there will be any rain, there will be very short rains. If there will be any rains, there will be very, very short rains. And this time Kenya will actually feel the real drought that they have never had for a long time. Well, those I told you are actually afflictions that must frustrate Ruto's regime, as well as also confound Kenya's prophets, Kenya's false prophets, and the clergy whom told you that Ruto's government was God ordained. So you'll see, ask them why is God bringing judgment to Kenya? If Ruto's regime was God's righteous will. So you ask them, so clergy will be the reason why, the reason why also the Republic we have this judgment. I want to ask media to make sure that on YouTube we have maximum volume. So plague number 8 is playing itself, and it will be very hard. So this actually will make Ruto be very desperate. Nile tu wa Kenya wasikiangi, but well, I'm not a prophet who has an aeroplane. I'm not a prophet that has an helicopter so that can hover over Kenya and attract to my meeting so that you hear what God says. I happen to be what God has fashioned me to become. So my placement and my manifestation is all by the design of God. So I may not really be very much attractive. But one thing I tell Kenyans ni kwamba muko mahali pabaya. Na haikuanza leo. God be my witness, because I've told us over time. And economy is biting. Without a doubt, it is biting. So you see some prophets running around telling you things I've said. Tell those prophets to shut up. God knows who are his prophets in the Republic. Mungu anajua manabii wake hapa Kenya ni kina nani. But you find that there are persons who are out to make a profit. They hear what we say, then they rebrand it and package it and give it out there. Pastors who just read events the way they happen, and then they also look like they're prophets. God knows his true prophets. Mungu anajua manabii wake walio kweli. Mahali tumefika hapa nilionya wa Kenya. Na sasa hali ya uchumi inawakula na inawabana. Na haitaisha sasa hivi, haitaisha hivi karibuni. Hali ambayo imo itaendelea, na itaendelea kwa muda na kipindi kirefu. Maybe ukafanya kufuatilia ujue kipindi kile ni kipindi cha muda gani. Maana hizo unabii tunazo katika mtandao. So those prophecies I've shared, they are there. And so Kenyans will actually feel the pinch. It will be biting. Economy will be very tough. Economy will be very cruel. Economy will be very harsh. So much harsh that if you have no faith in God, you'll get yourself into wickedness. Itakuwa chungu sana. Mbamo watu wasio na Mungu, wasio wake Mungu, ama wasio na hofu ya Mungu, watu wasio haki, watajipata katika hali ambazo watatenda maovu. May you seek God for shamar. Utapata mapasta, utavumbua mbinu nyingi mbaya mbaya za kutaka jinsi ya kusurvive. So pastors, you find that there'll be those who are ministers or those who call themselves servants. They'll actually be very crafty into coming up with means and ways of surviving because of the tough times. And Ruto will be very, very desperate. The other time I gave you some last 2 or 3 prophecies, or sometime last month, tell you of the times in the now. So mahali tuko sasa kama taifa, niliwaambia kwamba mfalme wenyu Ruto atajipata katika hali ambazo ni za kutamauka. And desperations for him will actually call for desperate measures. And you look at the decisions that he is making. He is actually running out of options. So Ruto will employ all tactics to try to become relevant. He'll try all tactics to try and woo people back to himself, but it won't work. Hata ajenge barabara za gorofa Kisumu, ajenge barabara za hewani Mombasa, ajenge zingine ambazo ni za hewa ama zinapitia kwenye anga, azijenge Nairobi, it won't work. Why so? It is because God is confirming the word he sent me to speak, that Ruto will be desperate. His desperation are actually causing him to make decisions that are ridiculous. Anafanya maamuzi ambazo zinashangaza, zinatamausha, maamuzi ambazo zinahofisha vile vile. And I look back and some people tell me, are you aware of this and the other? I say, well, I told you that is your king. And he'll actually be he's making such decisions ajabu because he wants to stay in power. It is sleeping out. Inaporomoka serikali. Inaporomoka kutoka mikononi mwake. Uwezo wake wa kudhibiti nchi na maongozi imo inaporomoka. People are tired, people are distressed, and people will take to demonstrate their disgust, their pain. Persons will be on the streets. Even if he has removed Raila Odinga from Kenya's scene, and he has successfully been able to remove Raila Odinga from the political scene, I'm telling you, wananchi peke yao utawaona barabarani. Tole mutaona na masafuria, you'll see them with the cooking pans. Mutaona barabarani wamebeba watoto migongoni, women will be carrying children on their backs. You'll see wazee vile vile pia wakipiga miguu barabarani. You shall see them. Ile agency walinyamazisha na mauaji. Now what I'm wondering, will also old men on the streets be fired with bullets? Will also wanawake ambao ni wajawazito na wengine wananyonyesha watapelekwa kamiti because utaona barabarani. And we are entering a season penye watu wataogopa. There will be no more fear among us Kenyan citizens. There'll be wataongea na macho kafu. Wataongea na nyuso ambazo ziko kafu. They'll speak their hearts with bold faces. That one, look for it. It will start as soon as I'm done with this prophecy. Ruto will be stressed and depressed. So he's desperate measures today. He makes some decisions like I hear that ID cards are being given even to those who are under 18. Well, that should not shock, because also in high school there are schools in Kenya that are in the past regimes. They were given ID cards, yet they were just in Form 2. In this republic, Kenya, there are high schools where children were given IDs in years back. Those were even during Nyayo's days. IDs were given. even when people were not yet 18 years old. So if it happened in Nyayo's days, what Ruto is doing today, it should not surprise people. But it is surprising. I say maybe it's not surprising, but it is astonishing. And so what I hear that foreigners are going to get IDs, and Ruto decided that one, loud, in the broad daylight. Someone should not be arrested for that. God has set Ruto for mistakes. He'll make them so that his judgment is justifiable. And Kenyans prepare for more. He'll make some very ridiculous pronouncements publicly to expose him as naked. So I told you, mutaona mfalme wenyu uchi. Mutasikia, ile mulisikia kwamba IDs zinapeanwa kwa foreigners. Hiyo bado, hiyo ni moja. In the meantime, Wakenya ambao wanasikia uchungu, ushuru ndio hiyo. Munafadhili miradi ambazo zinasaidia mfalme wenyu kuona jinsi atakaa mamlakani. And so where does he get money from? Not America anymore. It will not be Europe anymore. And Arabians not anymore. Because God is frustrating all those attempts. China not anymore. Those doors are being closed. God shall make Ruto feel he'll never enjoy government. He'll never enjoy leadership. It is not meant for him to enjoy, because there is no way the wicked will enjoy the stuff they steal. There is no joy for the wicked. That's what the Bible says. Neither is there joy for those who also are partakers and shareholders in their looting spree. That includes pastors, whom I'll be saying something about them. And so, Ruto being desperate are causing him also, like you see the way he's carrying Raila Odinga on his back. The very man that Ruto wanted to kill is today the very man Ruto is carrying on his back. Kenya yetu, Kenya ni nchi ya ajabu. Tuungane sote Kenya. Nchi ya ajabu. The very man that Ruto really tried to kill is today the very one that Ruto has actually embraced and carrying in his back. Please, there is no God in that equation. Those are Ruto's desperate schemes, moves, so that he can actually try and survive. And someone shouldn't think that Raila doesn't know. Raila knows. Raila is also equally an opportunist. A very, very desperate opportunist. So, you'll wonder who is fooling who. And so, a lot of things are being done, and a lot of decisions will be made. At the same time, those who will suffer are Kenyans. God has set Ruto for a fall, and Kenyans, you are in also to eat the plague. So I've actually written to us there. So fallout in government, expect it. I told you some time back that the three arms of the government, which are executive, judiciary, and parliament. So parliament is actually the upper house and the lower house. The lower house. They'll fall apart. They'll crack. So that the relationship that Ruto has with the judiciary, I told you, will be strained. Today, munaonaje? Ask Martha Koome. Anaweza enda date na Ruto. Akipewa date na Ruto, muulize Martha Koome, atakubali? Haiwezekani sahi. Because it is actually burning with fire. When Martha Koome they actually ruled in favor of Ruto. A ruling that even today, the heavens are still shocked. akapewa gari kubwa, magari zikapatina judiciary. That is your Martha Koome, president of judiciary. Today, muulize, is she enjoying that limousine, those limousines? They were all bribery. Judgment is eating judiciary. And I told you, judiciary shall fall apart. Mutaona. That one is 2 years old prophecy. Hao watu ni masafara. They are humiliating being in judiciary. The seats are hot. The space is congested. The air is thick. There's a lot of heat in the judiciary. And little what remains is resignation of these persons. If not so, they are being fired because even Ruto is feeling the heat. Where is their problem? God. Where is their problem? Jehovah God. There is no devil to cast out, to bind and to loose, because God is not devil. Even the devil, sometimes he was given a chance to speak. He'll say, I am innocent. Why am I being called everywhere? Then the relationship or the tie between executive and the parliament, both Senate and the lower house. Both the upper house and the Senate. Today, Kenyans, we do not know which one is the upper house, is the August house, and which one is the lower house, is Senate. Because today, Kenya, there is actually battle of supremacy. All those houses, God has frustrated and is frustrating their relationship with the executive. And so, you see it. Both the speakers of both the houses, every day they are bickering and wait for more. There will be a lot of fallouts. When I say about fallouts, you saw Gachagua fallout. There are others that shall follow. Heavy ones shall follow. I keep telling Kenyans, there is no government, there will be no elections in 2027. It will take a miracle. It will take a miracle. It will take a miracle if Kenyans will have elections in 2027. Anonyango mako chieng jatis Nyasaye okariyambaga. Having elections, kufanyikana uchaguzi at 2027, itakuwa ni maajabu. Itakuwa ni maajabu. Yaani Mungu afanye muujiza. Maana Mungu mwenyewe hajakubali. There'll be between now, and someone wait for my prophecy April. Between now and April, and after April, kuendelea mbele, where events that will actually be taking place. There will be events that will frustrate anything like formation of outfits and institutions and machineries that should actually make elections look possible. Whether they be bodies or institutions, nakwambia there is no glue. There will be no glue. Things will be falling apart. Now that one besides, the events that actually culminates, that are marking Ruto's last days in power. Not only are we having drought and famine, and death gives birth to death. Oppressions and depressions. You'll also see other fallouts in government. You'll also see eruptions of, chaos. You'll also see persons that need salaries. You'll be seeing persons that will be demanding from the government. And the government will be broke. So they still tax people, they still tax citizens even much more. But it is never enough. Why will it never be enough? There's a God in heaven that frustrates the affairs of men. Kuna Mungu aketie juu mbinguni, ambaye anazifadhaisha mbinu na njia zake mfalme. Anazifadhaisha. Even if he tap Raila himself to be DP, even if achukue Raila Odinga himself kuwa DP saa hii, Kenya will not be healed. Kenya won't be healed. Even if Ruto takes Raila Odinga to be co-president. Why? Because Kenya despised God. Ruto despised God. And the church contributed to it. So, vile imeanza, mutaziona. So expect more desperate and, shocking decisions from Ruto. You know what? Parliament will clap. Senate will shangilia. And politicians will say, will be like rubber stamping it like church rubber stamps. Did I not tell you? If you want to understand that one, see 2 Chronicles 15. 2 Chronicles chapter 15. I'm praying that God shall marry me and the people that respect me as servant of God, so that they be partakers of grace that God releases through me as his servant. So there are those who will have shamar, but there are those who will not have it. And the Spirit of God came upon Azariah the son of Oded, and he went out to meet Asa. And he said unto him, Hear ye, Asa, and all you Judah and Benjamin, the Lord is with you while you be with him. And if you seek him, he will be found of you. But if you forsake him, he will forsake you. So as Kenyan, so today replace Asa with Ruto. Then replace Judah and Benjamin with Kenya. Actually replace Judah with Kenya and as well as Benjamin. So Benjamin and Judah will actually be standing for the republic. So the Lord is with you while you are with him. So Kenyans today, not all of us are for God. Some of us are anti-God. So a lot of Kenyans are anti-Christ. So what has happened? God has forsaken many Kenyans God is forsaking a lot of Kenyans to be partakers of woos. Now, verse number 3, for a long season Israel had been without the true God, and without a teaching priest, and without law. Number 3, it is wanting in Kenya. Wakenya hawataki mafundisho, Wakenya hawataki sheria, na Wakenya hawataki Mungu wa kweli. Kenya wanataka miungu, wanataka masanamu. Nchi ya watu wanaopenda sarakasi, pakata Mungu mwenyewe ni Mungu wa sarakasi kwao. But when they, maybe verse number 5, in this time, so like in those times, there was no peace to him that went out, nor to him that came in. But instead, great vexations were upon all the inhabitants of the countries. So nyakati zile, jinsi ilivyo sasa, hamkuweko na amani kwa yule aendaye nje wala ingiaye. Badala yake kulikuwamo na fadhaa nyingi sana juu ya wakaaji wa nchi. Ndio hii tunayoona sasa hivi. So we are actually in the performance of verse number 5. Pesa hazitoshi. Shilingi 1,000 ya Kenya ni kama shilingi 100. But they tell you there is no inflation. The system is being manipulated. And that's the danger of Babylonian system. It is manipulatable. Babylonian system can manipulate cash, currency, money. They can manipulate economies to look like in the books things are fine. But you walk out here, things are not fine. It is called vexations, father. And as a result, nations are being destroyed by nations. City is being destroyed by a city. For God did vex them with all adversity. So unapata uharibifu ya mavita ya inchi dhidi ya inchi, mji unapiga mji. So unapata migongano za makabila, migongano za watu, falme za watu. So kuna masikini, kuna matajiri, kuna walionayo na wasiokuwa nayo, kuna walalahoi na watu ambao wamejilimbikizia zaidi ya mabwenyenye hapa Kenya. So that those who look like they have it, but they are not having enough of it. So much that they also want to, like, can we have more? But at the same time, the poor, I told you, will become poor. But you know what? All statistics, all analysis that are controlled by the Babylonian system are fooling people to have things look like they are good. Ndio hii. And Kenyans will feel it for a long time, until even after Ruto leaves, bado mtaisikia. Bado mtaisikia. Chapter number 3 of Isaiah, verse number 4. Just remind you kwamba what I told you today is here with us. When you have such elements as your leaders, what you sow is what you reap. Now it says here, verses number 4, Isaiah 3, that God says, I'll give you children to be your princes, and babes shall be rulers over you. Then people shall be oppressed, everyone by another. And so, inchi tuna hali ambazo tuna ugandamizaji. Your landlord can gandamiza you. Matatu can gandamiza you. Telcos, companies can gandamiza you. Even the biggest telco company in Kenya today is stealing. They are stealing. Kenya's biggest telco company today. You think there are errors. When they error, such an error involving money, yet they have like, do they have 50 million or are they, do they have 26 million subscribers? So if they err with a shilling out of a person, 10 shillings or 100 shillings, they err with 3,000 like that. Only if they do so for only half the subscribers, how much money are they stealing? That today no one is proud. I'm not even proud of the leading telco in Kenya today. Because even me, they steal from me. So sangapu tafuatana, when you want to recover what you want to recover, is as hard as like seeing the mightiest prophet in the republic. So God has actually set us into so neighbors. You buy things today with rudisha mahali. So it says that one shall oppress another, and neighbor shall oppress his neighbor, and children will appear proud, behave themselves proud against wazis, and the base against the honorable. Watu maskini watafanya kudharau watu mabwenyenye, watu walionayo, and they live and steal from them. Today that one is there. That even the politicians wanadharau makanisa. When you see that even we, those who are true servants of God, tunadharauliwa, ndio hii. Prophecy number 2 is I'm actually avoiding saying much about hiyo ngambo ingine. There are things I'm just withholding. Leswaseme uliwaribia Valentine. Maana kesho nasikia ni sherehe. So dhoga amiyo dhoga someone tell Jakom onyango koloso okaloso alinga sijaongea. Someone tell chairman sijaongea. Nitaongea siku nyingine, niliongea mbele. So ngojeni matokeo. Because today everybody now is a prophet. Some prophets are prophets ya 1 hour. Some prophets wamekuja prophets wa 1 day. Kenya, you find that prophets wametokea. There are 1,000 prophets. Some of them are prophets for 10 hours. They're telling you about Adis Gimoro. So wacha tuwachie watoto kwanza wacheze na kimbelembele yao. Adis Gimoro, Adis Gimoro, Adis Gimoro. So wacha waruke na Adis Gimoro. So hapa nimewacha ano kaloso doga. Haya.